can push that load. I was running 105 and I'm running up to 30.
You see it?
Yes, sir.
Impact! Impact!
For better or worse, most of the time when I purchase a gun, there's no real purpose for that firearm. Nothing more than I like it or it's Tuesday. I collect firearms, and while they're all useful, very few of mine have an actual designated use, at least for me. Of course, I have my concealed carry gun, my nightstand gun, my hunting rifle, my shower gun, and my toilet gun. However, the vast majority of my guns don't have a designated purpose other than America, freedom, and in the US, I can own 12 guns if I so desire. However, I purchased the Barrett MRAD with a very specific purpose and mission. I wanted to attempt a 1-mile shot. A few years ago, I shot 1,000 yards for the first time and I was immediately hooked. Long-range shooting is thrilling in a way that is sometimes hard to convey to those who have never done it. The skill involved in calculating the drop in wind to make a bullet fly that far and land on target is very rewarding. After making my first 1,000-yard shot, it wasn't terribly long after that I started thinking about going further. Now it's a pretty big jump from 1,000 yards to 1,760 yards, a mile, so lots of things have to be considered. Most guns and calibers that work great at 1,000 yards are going to fall short at a mile, so I use this as the perfect excuse to check off a very big gun that I've had on my wish list for a long time, the Barrett MRAD. So when I'm looking for something like a Barrett MRAD, naturally the first people I think of to call is Shooting Surplus, the internet's gun store. These guys have all the hardest to get, coolest guns in the world. I really couldn't recommend them any higher, and really none of this would be happening without their help because they were able to track down a Barrett MRAD in 300 PRC for me. So a huge thanks goes out to them, and whenever you're looking for anything from guns to ammo to gear, be sure to check them out first. I've got a discount code AA5. It doesn't work on everything on the site, but it does work on a lot of stuff. So always go try that out, see if you can save some money, and do check out Shooting Surplus. In case you've never heard of it, this is a Barrett MRAD, and that stands for Multi-Role Adaptive Design. This particular model is what they refer to as an SMR, and more on that in a minute. The MRAD is a precision rifle that has been designed from the ground up to be both modular and have extreme precision. Also, being Barrett, the MRAD is built tough enough for military use. The MRAD itself was designed to meet the requirements laid out in 2009 by SOCOM for their new sniper rifle. Barrett made the changes to the requirements to their Model 98B. Barrett made the stock foldable and added the interchangeable barrel system. This system allows the user in the field to just loosen 2 hex screws and change the barrel or caliber, allowing the rifle to adapt to whatever role is required. In 2019, SOCOM awarded Barrett the contract designating the MRAD the M22 ASR or Advanced Sniper Rifle. As the military will be getting the Mark 22, it will come with barrels for .308 Winchester, 300 Norma Magnum, and .338 Norma Magnum. As I've always said, if it's good enough for SOCOM, it's good enough for me. So of course the announcement of the Mark 22 made me want an MRAD even more. Every major long-range precision rifle manufacturer competed for this highly sought-after contract with the most stringent requirements for repeatable accuracy at extreme long range. Only one prevailed, and it was Barrett. This particular MRAD is referred to as an SMR or single mission rifle. It is unfortunately missing a couple of the key features from the full-on MRAD. The barrel doesn't easily interchange, although interestingly enough, from the exploded view in the manual, it does appear that changing the barrel might be possible. The stock also doesn't fold, and the stock isn't adjustable for length of pull. You might kind of think of this as the MRAD for the poors because it is significantly cheaper than a normal MRAD. You could also think of it as the rebranded Barrett Model 98B, but at least for 2020 it is the only configuration that offers the 300 PRC chambering, which I really wanted. Now at first I was a little put off because I didn't realize the differences. I just wanted an MRAD chambered in 300 PRC and was a little confused when this showed up. But after the initial shock, I am extremely happy with the SMR configuration. This rifle has done everything I could ever want it to do, and I saved a little bit of money initially. Both versions of the MRAD have this very unique enclosed polymer guide around the bolt, and this does a couple things. First of all, it ensures a very silky smooth bolt operation, while at the same time it keeps dust and debris away from the action. There's a completely adjustable match grade trigger, toolless adjustable cheek riser, and 45-degree throw safety located in virtually the same position as an AR, making it instantly familiar. All of that is housed in a monolithic receiver with a full-length top rail, complete with a built-in taper for extreme long range, and M-LOK slots at 3, 6, and 9 o'clock. As this one came from Barrett, it has a 26-inch barrel with a 1 1/8 twist. The overall length comes in at right at 49.5 inches with a weight of 13.4 pounds before any accessories are added. When I set out to pick a caliber for a mile shot, the first thing I wanted to do was pick something I knew could reach out that far. Being my first time trying to make a shot at that distance, I didn't want to take something that I hoped would make it or something that made it more difficult than it needed to be. I didn't want it to be like trying to ride a unicycle before I mastered a big wheel. The first round that comes to mind is always .338 Lapua Magnum, and that's a great round, but if you've ever priced the ammo for that, it is a bit insane. I started looking into Hornady's 300 Precision Rifle cartridge. It offered several things that very much appealed to me for this application. First off, out of my barrel length, 300 PRC won't go subsonic till about 1900 yards, meaning that it will be very stable through the mile shot at 1760 yards. Also, the rounds are far more affordable than .338 Lapua Magnum. You can buy the Hornady match ammo for just over $2 a round, less than half what match .338 Lapua Magnum costs, and basically that's cheaper than subsonic 300 Blackout in the current market. 2020 ammo prices are completely insane. But in all seriousness, the relative affordability of this round when compared to .338 Lapua Magnum or some other crazy expensive rounds that some people shoot a mile with made this possible for me and my budget. I knew shooting a mile was going to be an expensive venture, but anything I could do to keep the cost down, my bank account would greatly appreciate. To break it down for someone who understands things at about the level I do, 300 PRC is a little more powerful than 300 Win Mag and a little less powerful than .338 Lapua Magnum. It propels a 225 grain bullet downrange at a little over 2,900 feet per second, and that bullet will stay supersonic to roughly 1,900 yards, significantly past a mile at 1760, meaning the trajectory will be stable, and if I can't make the shot, I can't blame the round. The Barrett MRAD is an absolute pleasure to shoot. It's razor accurate, controls are perfectly placed, bolt action is silky smooth, and the trigger is phenomenal. As it should be, this rifle isn't cheap and you expect it to perform, and it will not disappoint. Really the only complaint, and it's not really a complaint about the rifle, but something I think you should know if you're considering purchasing one, the Barrett MRAD in 300 PRC greatly prefers the Hornady Match 225 grain loading of 300 PRC, and it doesn't really like the Precision Hunter offering. It's easily sub-MOA with the match offering, but groups opened up a surprising amount with the Precision Hunter loading. As you saw in the open, the Barrett MRAD did exactly what I wanted it to do. I was able to make my 1 mile shot. As a true testament to the superior build quality of this rifle, the accessories we used, and the great ballistics of the 300 PRC round, not only was I able to, but everyone we brought with us was able to make contact with a 24 by 24 inch piece of steel at 1 mile.
Impact.
The more experienced shooters present appreciated the build quality and extreme precision of the Barrett MRAD. But what impressed me so much was even the more novice shooters were able to make a mile shot with the Barrett MRAD. This thing flat out performs, and it is very easy to see why the Department of Defense chose this platform. As amazing as the Barrett MRAD is, you have to add a couple things to it to allow it to hit a target at these distances. First off, I topped it off with a Leupold Mark V 7-35 power. I am a huge fan of the Leupold Mark V series, and this version having a maximum magnification of 35 was really appreciated at a mile. The glass clarity is superb, there's a quick throw lever that allows you to quickly adjust the magnification, greatly aiding in target acquisition. The turret has a unique design that has an indicator that lets the shooter easily and quickly know where you are at in the turret, and it is very helpful when you're a little over 18 mils. The Leupold Mark V was my first choice for this shot because of these features, and it performed amazingly well as I expected. Let's talk about recoil management for a second. Recoil management became something I was concerned with. Not that 300 PRC through the MRAD has a massive amount of recoil, but it is more than 6.5 Creedmoor what I'm normally shooting. Initially, I was having a problem watching my shots hit the target, and I was looking for something to tame the recoil just a little bit. The first thing that I added that drastically reduced the recoil is the KGM Technologies, formerly KG made, R30 suppressor. The suppressor has an actual functioning muzzle brake in it, not just an empty chamber with ports. Not only did the R30 do an excellent job of taming the sound of the 300 PRC, but it was also extremely effective lowering the recoil so I could watch my shots all the way into the target. The other thing that I added that actually helped make the rifle extremely stable and lower the recoil a little is the B&T Atlas 5H bipod. This bipod is the largest in the Atlas lineup, and it has an extremely wide stance, giving the shooter superior support no matter what caliber you're shooting. I love Atlas bipods and have been a fan of them for a long time. This is my first time trying out the 5H, and it works great as they all do. Not sure this is for everyone, but if you want maximum stability, the 5H won't let you down. In closing, I'll just reiterate that the MRAD and everything we had on it is absolutely top notch. And if you're looking for something along these lines, I would highly recommend all of it. But I want to take this moment to tell you that if someone told me a few years ago I would be shooting a mile, I would have told them that they're crazy, and that's something that Larry Vickers or somebody like that gets to do. For me, this was a pretty big accomplishment, and something I quite literally thought I wouldn't be capable of doing. I set a goal and aggressively pursued it. While shooting a mile may not be your thing, you should set lofty goals in your own life and pursue them relentlessly. Sometimes the biggest obstacles in life are the ones that we create ourselves. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you had as much fun watching that video as I did making it. And a huge thank you goes out to Shooting Surplus, because this video would not be possible without a little bit of help from them. Most of the really hard to get super cool guns that you see on this channel come from Shooting Surplus. You can get on the in-stock notifications, get on the mailing list, you can find out when they get in, and you can get all this stuff too. Use the code AA5, works on most everything in the store. And guys, if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. Hit the notifications bell, because we have some really big videos coming up that you won't want to miss. If you want to know what those videos are way before they hit the YouTube channel, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Parler. There you can see what's being reviewed in real time way before it hits YouTube. Guys, if you like what you see here on Alabama Arsenal, consider becoming a Patreon. These videos can be surprisingly expensive to make, and every little bit helps and is greatly appreciated. There's also Alabama Arsenal gear available right below the video if you want to go out and represent. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching.